In the final years of the Cold War, NORAD's underground command center in Colorado stood as the core of America's early warning network, watching the skies non-stop. Deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain, massive steel blast doors sealed teams inside a fortress built to survive nuclear attack while monitoring threats in real time. Rows of consoles displayed radar returns, satellite feeds, and missile warning indicators, forming a system designed to detect Soviet launches within seconds. For decades, this machinery served as both shield and alarm bell, alerting military leaders whenever global tensions spiked or sensors misread distant activity. The system combined data from radar stations across North America with information from early warning satellites positioned high above the Earth's atmosphere. Every sensor worked as part of a layered detection network intended to prevent false alarms and ensure no hostile launch went unnoticed during critical moments. Analysts inside the mountain monitored this stream of information constantly, comparing new data to historical patterns to identify potential anomalies or threats. Despite advanced safeguards, the technology of the early 1980s remained vulnerable to glitches, data corruption, and unexpected hardware-software interactions. These weaknesses became clear on several nights when false alerts triggered sudden spikes of tension across command centers responsible for nuclear readiness. Among these incidents, one stood out for its severity, occurring when NORAD screens indicated that dozens of Soviet missiles were inbound toward the United States. The alert emerged without warning as automated systems began populating monitors with simulated trajectories showing multiple warheads crossing the Arctic region. Operators trained for worst-case scenarios reacted immediately, launching verification protocols and contacting associated radar stations to confirm incoming activity. The atmosphere inside the mountain shifted instantly as crews prepared to elevate the nation's defense posture while checking for corroboration across sensors. At higher command levels, senior officers were notified that NORAD's primary display suggested a massive strategic strike aimed at critical U.S. targets. Under established procedures, confirmation of such data would trigger a rapid move toward retaliatory readiness, sending warnings to national leaders within minutes. Yet the system relied on multiple confirmation channels, and analysts began noticing inconsistencies between displayed trajectories and external detection reports. Ground-based radars scanning northern airspace failed to detect matching signatures, raising doubts about whether the satellite-fed alert was genuine or corrupted. Because satellite data often arrived faster than radar confirmation, crews urgently scanned for secondary indicators that might support or disprove the warning. During these tense moments, every second mattered, as decision timelines for nuclear response were designed around rapid assessments of hostile intent. The command center balanced two catastrophic risks: mistaking false data for real attack or dismissing true launch indicators during a genuine strategic strike. To resolve the discrepancy, technicians initiated a deeper system diagnostic, checking for data processing errors that might distort satellite-derived readings. While engineers probed the anomaly, officers monitored communication links to ensure no external interference or equipment malfunction threatened operational stability. Multiple stations across the defense network reported normal conditions, reinforcing doubts that the detected launch signatures reflected real missile activity. The absence of corroborating evidence prompted commanders to delay escalation, while continuing to analyze the source of the alarming satellite-generated data. Within minutes, engineers identified irregular behavior in the computer system, responsible for translating raw satellite information into missile track graphics. Preliminary signs indicated the alert did not originate from an external threat, but from internal data corruption affecting display and simulation modules. This discovery allowed commanders to halt escalation procedures, preventing the alert from advancing into higher-level nuclear decision channels that night. Although the threat was resolved, the incident revealed critical vulnerabilities within systems designed to provide absolute clarity during moments of crisis. In the aftermath, Officials initiated detailed investigations to determine how simulated attack data had reached operational screens without proper filtering safeguards. Investigators quickly focused on the complex chain of hardware and software inside the early warning architecture, examining each element involved in data display. The system depended on large mainframe computers that process streams of information from satellites designed to detect heat signatures from missile launches. These satellites monitored the infrared glow produced by rocket exhaust, a method intended to give the United States several minutes of advance warning. During the incident, the satellite feed itself remained stable, but the processing module responsible for interpreting those signals experienced internal errors. The malfunction caused the computer to incorrectly assemble fragments of stored simulation data, presenting them as real-time Soviet launch indicators on NORAD screens. Technical teams identified that a faulty microchip within the mainframe had disrupted system logic, allowing training scenario elements to appear in operational displays. This failure created a dangerous illusion, a digital pattern mimicking a coordinated intercontinental strike, complete with projected impact trajectories. Although backup sensors contradicted the alert, the visual impression on the main console represented one of the most serious false readings in NORAD history. Had commanders reacted without full verification, the incident might have triggered a chain of escalations across the U.S. strategic command structure. This near miss highlighted the profound risk embedded in systems that required rapid decision-making under intense time pressure during the nuclear era. Interviews conducted afterward revealed how closely personnel adhered to protocol, resisting the instinct to assume the worst despite the alarming displays. Their discipline reflected years of training designed to prevent catastrophic overreaction in environments where fractions of a minute carried global consequences. Following the event, NORAD implemented new verification layers, adding redundant cross-checking to prevent false alerts from reaching higher command channels. Engineers replaced vulnerable hardware, updated software filters, and introduced fault detection routines to stop corrupted data before it reached operators. These upgrades formed part of a broader modernization effort intended to strengthen the reliability of early warning systems throughout the Cold War's final decade. While the incident never became widely public at the time, small references appeared later in declassified summaries describing vulnerabilities in early warning networks. The event shared similarities with other known false alarms of the era, reinforcing the importance of robust safeguards within nuclear command and control systems. For NORAD personnel, the night remained a reminder of how fragile high-tech defense networks could be when even minor hardware failures escaped detection. The command center operated under the assumption that no single sensor stream should ever dictate strategic decisions, a principle validated by the incident. In the days that followed, system engineers conducted comprehensive reviews, mapping each input path and verifying that all connections met updated safety criteria. This effort resulted in improved synchronization between satellite data, radar inputs, and ground-based tracking, reducing the chance of mismatched information. Meanwhile, analysts revisited training protocols to emphasize slow escalation, critical thinking, and reliance on multi-source confirmation under pressure. Although technology continued advancing, the lesson remained clear. Human judgment would always play a key role in preventing unintended military action. The event also underscored the complexity of NORAD's mission, which required flawless coordination between machine accuracy and human interpretation. Every shift thereafter operated with heightened awareness that even the most advanced systems of the era were not immune to unpredictable technical failures. Engineers emphasized resilience, designing future upgrades to withstand partial outages, corrupted memory blocks, or misaligned data parameters without triggering alarms. These reforms strengthened confidence in the overall system, ensuring that false signals could be isolated quickly before influencing strategic calculations. By increasing diagnostic transparency, NORAD reduced the risk that internal system faults would again masquerade as external threats capable of provoking retaliation. Even after repairs were completed, the night remained part of internal briefings, illustrating how critical vigilance and verification were in early warning operations. In the months following the false alert, defense officials widened their investigation to understand how a single microchip failure created such a dangerous scenario. They reviewed procurement records, manufacturing logs, and quality control documents to determine whether similar components were installed across other systems. Testing soon revealed that identical chips were used in several early warning computers, prompting immediate replacement to avoid repeating the incident. This discovery demonstrated the hidden vulnerability of Cold War infrastructure, where small hardware flaws could echo through massive detection networks. The Pentagon ordered enhanced diagnostics on all integrated circuits supporting missile warning operations, enforcing stricter reliability standards across suppliers. Teams analyzed how corrupted logic paths allowed simulation fragments to merge with live operational data, bypassing filters designed to separate the two streams. This analysis highlighted weaknesses in legacy code, much of it written when early warning systems were still developing under rapid Cold War deadlines. Programmers updated these modules, reinforcing boundaries between training scenarios, archival data, and live missile detection channels feeding command displays. During these revisions, engineers emphasized physical and logical isolation of sensitive pathways to prevent accidental cross-traffic that could trigger false alarms. At the same time, strategic planners briefed national leadership on the incident, outlining the narrow margin that prevented mistaken escalation that night. These discussions emphasized the unpredictability of technological error in systems where even brief misinterpretation could hold catastrophic global implications. Military officials stressed that verification doctrine had proven effective, as officers resisted premature conclusions and waited for multi-channel confirmation. This reassurance strengthened confidence in human oversight, reinforcing the belief that disciplined personnel remained essential despite increasingly automated networks. However, the analysis also underscored how dependence on automation created new forms of risk, especially as missile warning systems grew more complex each year. Defense committees recommended accelerated modernization to replace aging circuitry and expand redundancy, ensuring no single point of failure held such influence again. Meanwhile, the incident prompted deeper collaboration between military engineers and civilian contractors, supporting the satellite early warning constellation. Experts examined how infrared detection algorithms responded to data anomalies, assessing whether environmental factors could ever mimic missile signature patterns. They confirmed the false alert did not originate from space, reaffirming that the malfunction stemmed entirely from the ground-based processing environment. Still, the episode encouraged refinements to satellite data filtering, ensuring that spurious signals or corrupted inputs could not cascade into large-scale alarms. Officers at NORAD incorporated these findings into routine drills, integrating new procedures that required additional cross-checks before elevating threat levels. These drills emphasized comm evaluation, multi-source data comparison, and a commitment to delaying escalation until radar, satellite, and communication links aligned. Personnel described the updated protocols as both rigorous and reassuring, offering structured steps designed to resist panic during high-pressure situations. As reforms took hold, the early warning system became more resilient, better able to identify internal faults before they reached mission-critical displays. The improvements also strengthened national confidence in strategic readiness, demonstrating that vulnerabilities could be addressed through systematic review. Despite these advancements, officials recognized that no technology could guarantee absolute immunity from future failures or unexpected environmental conditions. This realization drove defense planners to prioritize adaptability, ensuring operators were trained to question anomalies rather than accept automated conclusions. Behind the scenes, NORAD's modernization efforts became part of a broader trend across the defense community to enhance reliability in all nuclear-related systems. The night of the false alarm remained a central case study, illustrating how intricate and interconnected nuclear command mechanisms were during the Cold War's final years. As technical teams completed their internal review, attention shifted toward how early warning centers across the United States interacted during alarm sequences. The incident revealed communication gaps between NORAD, Strategic Air Command, and auxiliary radar stations that relied heavily on synchronized data flow. Although these gaps did not cause the false alert, they complicated verification efforts, delaying confirmation that no hostile activity existed in northern airspace. Officials recognized that fragmented communication could magnify confusion during a genuine crisis, especially when minutes determined national response timelines. To address this, defense planners introduced faster reporting channels linking radar sites, satellite control centers, and missile warning operators in unified networks. These updates included dedicated hotlines, redundant digital links, and automated synchronization tools that ensured each facility accessed the same real-time picture. In addition to new communication paths, engineers installed real-time consistency checks, comparing satellite, radar, and tracking data for mismatched values. Consistency algorithms flagged discrepancies instantly, prompting operators to review raw sensor input before escalating warnings across strategic command chains. This innovation dramatically reduced the risk that corrupted data could progress unnoticed, enhancing the system's ability to detect anomalies at their source. Meanwhile, NORAD leadership revised procedural guidelines governing how officers interpreted large-scale alerts that originated from a single detection stream. Under updated doctrine, no missile warning display could be accepted as valid unless supported by independent confirmation from at least one alternate sensor system. This shift placed deeper emphasis on cross-verification, reducing reliance on any individual technology and reinforcing the primacy of multi-source analysis. These reforms reflected lessons learned from earlier Cold War false alarms, including radar reflections, communication interference, and computational misreads. The new rules encouraged operators to apply critical reasoning, even when automated systems projected urgent or overwhelming attack scenarios. Beyond technical changes, psychological training became a greater priority, preparing personnel to remain calm when alarms appeared to indicate imminent nuclear strike. This training included scenario-based exercises replicating sudden data anomalies, algorithm failures, and inconsistent threat indicators across detection channels. Operators practiced stepping through verification tasks under simulated time pressure, reinforcing discipline essential to preventing catastrophic misinterpretation. At the same time, policymakers reviewed how national decision-makers received early warning information, ensuring top officials were not prematurely confronted with raw data. Briefing protocols added new requirements for contextual analysis, demanding that senior leaders receive only vetted, cross-verified assessments during potential crises. This shielded decision-makers from exposure to incomplete or misleading alarms that could influence judgment during the narrow windows of nuclear decision cycles. As modernization progressed, NORAD conducted full-scale system tests to validate improvements, simulating high-intensity traffic across satellite and radar networks. These simulations stressed the architecture with artificial overloads, allowing technicians to monitor system resilience and identify weaknesses that required further upgrades. Results showed increased stability, with improved fault detection, greater redundancy, and substantially reduced risk of training data contaminating operational channels. Despite these advancements, officials warned that continuous vigilance remained essential, as both human and technological error could still shape outcomes in unpredictable ways. They emphasized that early warning systems existed not in isolation, but within a broader strategic environment defined by global tension and rapid weapons development. For NORAD crews, the false alert became a defining reference point, illustrating how even sophisticated defenses were vulnerable to minute failures deep inside their core. It reinforced a culture of caution, ensuring that every alarm, no matter how convincing, was approached with disciplined skepticism and rigorous verification. By integrating these changes, NORAD emerged stronger, better prepared to manage high-stakes scenarios while reducing the risk of unintended escalation during the nuclear era. As reforms settled into daily operations, analysts began examining how broader geopolitical conditions influenced the stakes surrounding the false alert. During this period, tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union fluctuated sharply, creating an atmosphere where misinterpretation carried heightened risk. Early warning systems played a crucial role in maintaining strategic stability, serving as the first barrier against surprise attack and accidental escalation. Because both nations relied heavily on rapid response doctrines, any misleading detection could potentially trigger retaliatory preparation on extremely short timelines. Historical records show that Soviet leadership also monitored American radar activity closely, watching for abrupt shifts that might signal imminent military action. A false alert inside NORAD therefore extended beyond a domestic technical issue. It carried implications for how adversaries interpreted U.S. defensive posture. If unusual movements had been detected by foreign intelligence during the incident, it might have fueled miscalculation on the other side of the global divide. This context amplified the importance of preventing false alarms, as even small technical errors had the potential to influence international perception. Strategists understood that early warning networks formed a delicate bridge between technological reliability and human judgment across both superpowers. Diplomatic backchannels later acknowledged that accidental launches posed a threat equal to intentional ones, highlighting the need for robust verification protocols. Within NORAD, analysts began studying psychological factors that shaped operator decision-making during high-stress alerts involving conflicting data streams. Their goal was to refine instructions that guided personnel toward caution, without diminishing the urgency required to recognize genuine threats. The studies emphasized the value of teams working collaboratively, cross-checking interpretations rather than relying on isolated individual assessments. This approach mirrored aviation and medical crisis management models, where coordinated verification helps prevent catastrophic error under time pressure. Meanwhile, defense scientists continued evaluating how emerging technologies, such as more advanced infrared sensors, might reduce future false alarms. They explored ways to filter atmospheric reflections, cosmic interference, and unpredictable environmental conditions that sometimes complicated satellite readings. Although these factors did not cause the incident in question, improving resilience against unrelated anomalies helped strengthen the system overall. At the policy level, lawmakers received classified briefings outlining the event, prompting discussions about the long-term stability of nuclear command systems. Committees recommended sustained investment in early warning infrastructure, arguing that outdated equipment increased the risk of unintended escalation. These recommendations aligned with broader modernization initiatives intended to update radar arrays, upgrade communication lines, and refresh computational hardware. While many specifics remained classified, declassified references confirmed that the incident contributed to a wave of late, Cold War defense improvements. NORAD also expanded its partnership with civilian scientific institutions, encouraging seismic and atmospheric researchers to contribute expertise to system upgrades. This collaboration helped refine models used to distinguish rare natural phenomena from potential missile activity, strengthening overall detection accuracy. As lessons from the false alert spread across the defense community, the event became part of training curricula at multiple strategic installations. Trainees studied the timeline in detail, learning how disciplined skepticism, teamwork, and multi-source verification prevented a dangerous misreading of events. Leaders emphasized that the correct outcome resulted not from luck, but from adherence to protocol, demonstrating that procedures could withstand intense pressure. For veteran personnel, these training sessions offered reassurance that future generations would inherit a culture shaped by this near-miss inside Cheyenne Mountain. By institutionalizing the incident's lessons, NORAD ensured that its early warning mission evolved with greater awareness of the limits and vulnerabilities of its systems. As modernization programs accelerated, NORAD engineers examined how data moved through each layer of the early warning infrastructure during real-time operations. They traced the path from satellite sensors orbiting high above Earth to the processing centers buried deep inside Cheyenne Mountain's reinforced complex. Each step revealed new opportunities to strengthen safeguards, ensuring that corrupted signals could not travel unchecked through the system again. One major improvement involved isolating training data on dedicated hardware, preventing archived simulation files from residing alongside operational datasets. This separation ensured that no accidental crossover, like the one caused by the faulty microchip, could insert practice scenarios into live threat displays. Technicians also added automated alerts to flag improbable attack patterns, offering early warning when the system registered trajectories inconsistent with physics. These alerts served as a secondary filter, prompting operators to verify readings immediately whenever digital outputs deviated from realistic strategic scenarios. In addition, new environmental sensors were integrated to rule out rare natural events that might distort infrared or radar detection channels under certain conditions. Though such distortions were unlikely, planners sought to minimize every imaginable source of misinformation during split-second decision cycles. Engineers also designed improved auditing logs that recorded every step of data processing, creating traceable fingerprints of how information moved through the system. These logs allowed analysts to reconstruct system behavior after anomalies, providing clear insight into whether faults originated from hardware, software, or inputs. Such visibility proved essential for identifying weaknesses early, preventing minor issues from growing into full-scale alerts capable of influencing national readiness. During this period, NORAD updated its displays to present data in more interpretable formats, reducing the risk that visual ambiguity might affect operator judgment. Sharper graphics, improved tracking overlays, and color-coded verification markers helped distinguish confirmed threats from uncorroborated sensor activity. Technicians emphasized clarity, ensuring analysts could instantly recognize discrepancies between data streams rather than relying on intuition under pressure. The new interface also included real-time confidence indicators that measured how well satellite and radar readings aligned with expected missile signatures. High alignment increased certainty, while low alignment prompted immediate rechecks, reinforcing the doctrine of cautious evaluation during ambiguous events. As software evolved, NORAD incorporated redundant computational pathways, allowing parallel systems to verify calculations independently before updating main screens. These parallel systems reduced the risk of a single computational failure cascading into widespread misinterpretation, strengthening overall decision integrity. Meanwhile, cybersecurity teams examined the potential for external interference, ensuring that early warning channels remained insulated from unauthorized manipulation. Though no evidence of intrusion existed, securing the network against theoretical threats became a priority as Cold War tensions persisted. Alongside these technical updates, structural improvements to Cheyenne Mountain increased resilience to physical shock, electromagnetic disruption, and power anomalies. Backup generators, hardened cabling, and shielding enhancements ensured that infrastructure could maintain full function even during extreme conditions. These upgrades reflected the core mission of the complex, to remain operational regardless of external attack or internal malfunction, preserving national awareness. For the personnel stationed within the mountain, the improvements offered reassurance that the tools they relied upon could withstand future stress events. Daily routines continued with renewed confidence, as operators monitored radar sweeps, satellite telemetry, and global activity with heightened situational clarity. Despite advancements, the memory of the false alert remained a constant reminder that even robust systems demanded continual vigilance from those who operated them. This awareness shaped a culture grounded in caution, precision, and respect for the complexity of the technology that guarded the nation from sudden nuclear threat. As early warning systems grew more resilient, strategic experts revisited the broader implications of the incident, analyzing how near misses shaped Cold War stability. They emphasized that false alerts did not occur in isolation. They unfolded within a tense environment where rapid decision-making defined nuclear deterrence. Both superpowers relied on launch-on-warning doctrines, meaning confirmation of a large-scale attack could trigger immediate retaliatory preparation. In such a framework, even a short-lived false reading risked escalating tensions, especially if adversaries detected unusual military activity during verification. Analysts reviewed historical intelligence to determine whether Soviet tracking stations noticed any anomalies in U.S. operations on the night of the incident. Declassified accounts later indicated no adversarial reaction occurred, a fortunate outcome that underscored how narrowly the world avoided unnecessary escalation. Strategists noted that for every visible step in the early warning process, multiple invisible pressures shaped decisions, from political climate to system design. They pointed out that the false alert echoed earlier incidents worldwide, including radar misreads, sensor reflections, and satellite misinterpretations. Each false alarm reinforced the same universal lesson. Advanced technology alone could not substitute for disciplined human judgment during critical moments. Defense officials therefore encouraged greater collaboration between technical and psychological experts to strengthen decision-making models under stress. These models examined how operators evaluated conflicting data, identifying cognitive patterns that either supported or undermined accurate interpretation. Findings revealed that teams trained in cross-verification responded more consistently, avoiding premature conclusions even when presented with alarming displays. This insight led to enhanced team-based protocols, ensuring that no major assessment relied solely on a single operator's interpretation or instinct. Simultaneously, research groups studied how environmental factors, such as solar activity or atmospheric disturbances, could influence detection reliability. Although unrelated to the specific incident, this work broadened understanding of rare conditions that might confuse sensors during unusual cosmic events. Such research contributed to improved filtering algorithms, enabling systems to discount irregular signatures that did not match known missile launch profiles. In addition to these technical efforts, NORAD evaluated its broader communication posture, ensuring transparent coordination between military and civilian authorities. Officials recognized that public trust in early warning capabilities depended on confidence that the system could withstand unexpected faults without overreacting. This trust was essential during the Cold War, when media coverage of nuclear issues heightened public awareness of potential threats and military readiness. Although the incident remained classified at the time, internal reviews emphasized that future public disclosures should present early warning reforms accurately. Leaders sought to ensure that citizens understood both the seriousness of the risks and the sophistication of the safeguards designed to mitigate them. Policy planners argued that transparency after declassification would strengthen democratic oversight, highlighting how accountability improved national safety. Within the military community, the incident also sparked conversations about the long-term sustainability of launch-on-warning policies in a rapidly changing world. Some strategists questioned whether such rapid decision timelines were appropriate given the complexity and fallibility of detection networks. They suggested expanding options for delayed retaliation, though implementation faced challenges due to deep-rooted strategic doctrines on both sides of the conflict. By the late 1980s, these debates shaped broader arms control negotiations that sought to reduce global reliance on high-alert nuclear postures. Although these policy shifts occurred gradually, the false alert inside NORAD quietly contributed to reassessing how nations interpreted early warning signals. It demonstrated that even the most secure infrastructures could not eliminate all risk, encouraging leaders to prioritize dialogue alongside deterrence. For those who worked inside Cheyenne Mountain, the event remained a vivid memory, a moment when technology, tension, and timing converged in dangerous alignment. Their experience underscored the fragile balance of the nuclear age, reminding future generations that vigilance, discipline, and caution were essential for global stability. As the Cold War neared its end, NORAD continued upgrading its early warning systems, integrating new technologies designed to eliminate vulnerabilities revealed by false alerts. Next-generation satellites entered service with more advanced infrared sensors, offering better discrimination between missile launches and environmental disturbances. These satellites transmitted cleaner data streams, reducing the chances that thermal noise, atmospheric reflections, or sensor anomalies could mimic hostile activity. Ground stations received updated communication links, replacing older analog circuits with digital pathways capable of handling larger volumes of information. This transition strengthened reliability and minimized the risk that corrupted packets or electrical interference could distort incoming threat indicators. NORAD also implemented improved radar fusion techniques, combining long-range early warning radar data with short-range tracking information in real time. This multi-layered approach ensured that any true missile launch would appear across several independent systems before reaching senior decision-makers. Meanwhile, computer scientists refined data integrity protocols, deploying error correction algorithms that could automatically identify and isolate corrupted inputs. These safeguards prevented flawed data from cascading through critical displays, effectively insulating operators from misleading threat projections. Operators received updated training emphasizing interpretation of confidence metrics, helping them distinguish between high-probability events and uncertain readings. Confidence indicators became a crucial visual tool, guiding personnel to review low-certainty signals with skepticism while giving proper weight to verified detections. These reforms made early warning assessments more stable, reducing pressure on operators to make rapid judgments in the presence of ambiguous data. As early warning technology advanced, NORAD strengthened cooperation with civilian scientific agencies studying atmospheric, solar, and geophysical phenomena. This collaboration provided deeper insight into rare natural events, such as auroral disturbances, that could temporarily affect remote sensing systems. While these events had not contributed to the incident, understanding them allowed engineers to refine filtering algorithms and reduce false positives from future anomalies. International cooperation also expanded through emerging arms control frameworks, encouraging data transparency and shared monitoring expectations among major powers. Such collaboration reduced the likelihood that misinterpreted activity on one side would trigger defensive movement misread by the other as offensive preparation. These global efforts helped stabilize strategic communication, lowering the risk that a technical malfunction might contribute to geopolitical miscalculation. Within NORAD, leadership reinforced the concept of defensive patience, acting decisively when evidence aligned, yet refusing to escalate prematurely under pressure. This doctrine rebalanced the relationship between automation and human judgment, acknowledging that technology alone could not guarantee perfect clarity. Personnel in Cheyenne Mountain spoke of how this philosophy changed the atmosphere inside the command center, encouraging operators to analyze, not react. Shift supervisors emphasized collaborative assessment, calling teams together to evaluate data collectively whenever unusual indicators appeared on displays. This team-based approach improved consistency, reducing the influence of individual bias during high-stress moments involving incomplete or conflicting information. Over time, the changes transformed NORAD's workflow, making it less vulnerable to sudden spikes of uncertainty triggered by isolated sensor anomalies. Despite improvements, the memory of the false alert remained deeply embedded in training doctrine, serving as a cautionary tale presented to every new operator. Veterans described the incident during briefings, explaining how strict adherence to procedure prevented a dangerous misinterpretation during those tense minutes. Their testimony underscored how easily a single point of failure could distort the view of global events if no safeguards stood between data corruption and decision-making. As doctrine matured, NORAD developed layered verification steps designed to prevent future false alarms from reaching national command authorities prematurely. These verification layers required confirmation across infrared satellites, early warning radars, ground-based tracking systems, and independent communication checks. Together, they formed a robust defensive shield, one born not from theoretical planning alone, but from lessons etched into history by the night the system failed. In the years after the false alert, NORAD's transformation stood as evidence of how a single incident could influence the evolution of global nuclear safeguards. The changes implemented inside Cheyenne Mountain strengthened not only U.S. readiness, but the broader stability of Cold War-era deterrent structures. By reducing the possibility of accidental escalation, these improvements helped ensure that strategic decisions remained grounded in verified multi-source evidence. As technology advanced, next-generation systems replaced older components, further insulating early warning networks from the types of failures seen that night. These upgrades included hardened processors, fault-tolerant architectures, and specialized hardware designed to withstand thermal, electrical, and magnetic stress. Software improvements introduced rigorous boundary controls, preventing training scenarios and archived datasets from ever intersecting with live operational channels. Together, these changes formed a defensive architecture capable of filtering anomalies before they reached command rooms responsible for national security. The United States also broadened cooperation with allied nations, sharing detection methodologies and refining collective approaches to global threat monitoring. This collaboration added redundancy on an international scale, ensuring that independent networks could cross-check unusual activity detected by any single system. Historically, such cooperation strengthened the foundation for multinational agreements that eventually reduced nuclear testing and encouraged mutual transparency. Despite these advancements, NORAD continued teaching operators that no system could eliminate risk entirely. Vigilance remained the defining safeguard. Training emphasized that early warning technology, regardless of sophistication, operated within a domain of uncertainty shaped by physics, environment, and human judgment. New operators learned that decisions made inside the mountain carried consequences far beyond its reinforced walls, influencing global posture in minutes. They were encouraged to approach every anomaly with caution, treating each unexpected display as a puzzle requiring verification rather than immediate reaction. This disciplined mindset became a defining characteristic of NORAD operations, ensuring that future crews inherited the lessons carved from that dangerous night. Though classified for years, acknowledgement of the incident eventually appeared in technical retrospectives, analyzing Cold War command and control vulnerabilities. These accounts highlighted how close a complex defense system came to misinterpreting its own internal failure as an external existential threat. Experts later used the incident as a case study when designing modern early warning systems, ensuring contemporary architectures avoided similar weaknesses. Military historians recognized the event as one of several key moments when global stability depended on methodical verification rather than rapid escalation. They noted that the professionalism of operators inside Cheyenne Mountain prevented a faulty display from spiraling into a chain of irreversible decisions. The incident illustrated the central principle of nuclear stewardship. Technology can support decisions, but judgment determines their outcome. Even decades later, the story continues to resonate within strategic communities, reminding planners that the most dangerous failures often emerge quietly from within. It reinforces the need for systems engineered with transparency, redundancy, and resilience, capable of isolating faults before they influence national readiness. Today, Cheyenne Mountain remains a symbol of defensive vigilance, its reinforced chambers still monitoring global activity through advanced sensing networks. While operations have evolved, the mission endures: to detect emerging threats accurately and ensure that no false signal threatens global security again. The night NORAD almost launched the missile stands as a testament to caution, discipline, and the fragile balance that defined the nuclear age. It marks a moment when human judgment prevailed over machine error, preserving stability at a time when the world remained just minutes away from catastrophe. In the end, the incident serves as a stark reminder that the most critical safeguard in any early warning system is the people who interpret its signals. Their vigilance, skepticism, and commitment to verification ensured that a faulty microchip did not define history, keeping a moment of failure from becoming disaster. In the decades following the false alert, researchers studying Cold War infrastructure continued examining how early warning systems matured through layered safeguards. They found that the event served as a pivotal reference point, helping shape modern protocols used in missile detection centers across multiple global regions today. Academics and defense analysts frequently revisited the incident while exploring how organizational culture influences judgment during high-pressure alert sequences. Their studies showed that redundancy alone cannot guarantee stability unless trained personnel apply disciplined skepticism when confronted with alarming sensor output. This conclusion underscored why human oversight remains central in nuclear command frameworks, despite significant advances in automation and sensor capability. Modern systems now incorporate cross-domain data fusion, merging orbital, radar, infrared, and cyberintelligence streams to validate unusual activity in real time. These layers dramatically reduce the probability that a single corrupted input could generate a misleading picture, resembling large-scale hostile launch activity. Even so, early warning agencies preserve verification procedures inspired by the lessons of that night, ensuring data is challenged multiple times before escalation. This mindset informs training programs worldwide, emphasizing that sound judgment arises from collaboration, methodical verification, and careful interpretation. Military planners also highlight the incident as a reminder that geopolitical tension amplifies the consequences of technical failure within strategic networks. They argue that global stability relies not only on weapon systems, but on the integrity of information guiding decisions between peace and retaliation. In this way, the event shaped a generation of engineers who prioritized transparency, fail-safe logic, and continuous auditing in newly designed detection systems. Within Cheyenne Mountain today, upgraded consoles, hardened circuits, and modern computing platforms operate alongside long-standing doctrines forged through experience. These doctrines remind operators that their responsibility extends beyond technology, requiring an unwavering commitment to caution under even the most intense pressure. The story remains a central teaching tool, illustrating how global peace endured partly because individuals refused to let a flawed display dictate irreversible action. For modern analysts, the incident stands as evidence that the most decisive factor in nuclear security is not machinery, but the people interpreting its signals. Their ability to challenge assumptions, question anomalies, and uphold verification standards continues to shape the reliability of early warning operations. Though decades have passed, the message persists. Vigilance is not a relic of the Cold War, but an essential requirement wherever nuclear decisions depend on data. The night NORAD almost launched the missiles survives as a quiet chapter in American history, revealing how close miscalculation once came to altering the world. Its lessons endure across military, scientific, and diplomatic communities, reminding future generations that stability depends on both engineered safeguards and human clarity. Ultimately, the incident became more than a technical failure. It became a testament to restraint, proving that thoughtful decision-making can prevent disaster even at the edge of uncertainty.